GMAC Bowl, Middle Tennessee State, Miami of Ohio. Normally we've got R.J. Bell as our host. This week we've got a special treat, special guest, Johnny Detroit. Welcome to the show, Johnny. How you doing?
Doing good, Marco, but feeling a little negative energy in the room right now, so there's a couple things we're going to need to change. First off, it's the Johnny Detroit show, and for good measure, the new CEO of Pregame while I'm here.
Looks good on you. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Jesus. Excuse me, Stanford?
He had it ready.
Thank you, sir. Come again. All right, for those of you that missed last week, that little payoff was, for some reason, insane may it be, he continues to buck Marco on the best bets, but we gave out Stanford and RJ wanted to bet Virginia Tech, so that's the $500 payoff there.
It was a bad night overall. He got cracked by me twice at the no limit game, and then on the TV, he has to see Stanford roll up Virginia Tech. So.
And you did it with a bluff, too. That made it even sweeter. But let's get to business. We've got football, Middle Tennessee State, Miami of Ohio. Johnny, tell me about this game as far as, where the number's at, and I'll tell you where I'm at.
Well, to me, the big story on this Miami-Ohio game is it opened Miami-Ohio -3. Right now, it's totally flip-flop. Now Miami-Ohio is actually getting points at +2. Despite the public being all over the over, we're not seeing much movement there. It opened at 48. It's now sitting at 48.5. So based on that, where are we going, Marco? Who do you like?
Well, I'm going to go with Middle Tennessee State, and I'm going to say first off, we have lost a lot of value in this game. I mean, when you're going from getting +3 to -2, there's 5 points that we've lost there. But what I'm going to point out as far as the value that we lost, and go back to a lot of times, RJ and myself, we talk about teasers.
Correct.
And I say that when you make teasers, one thing you don't ever do is tease a small favorite to a small dog, because you're not getting the proper line value there. More often than not, it's just going to be pick the winner. That 3-point, 2-point spread's not going to come in either way. And that's going to be the case with this game, why I'll still go with Middle Tennessee State. You're looking at a team 6-6 versus a 9-4 Miami of Ohio team. 6-6, this team had to win their final 3 games to get into the bowls. And we talk about motivation and stuff.
Right.
Do people want to be in the bowl that they're in? Okay, yeah, this is a January bowl, and normally when you're playing a January bowl, it's a big bowl, but it's not. This is the GMAC Bowl. But Middle Tennessee State
Miami, Ohio.
is happy to be.
Not Miami, Florida, Miami, Ohio.
Miami, Ohio. They're happy to be here because they won their way into this game. And so from a motivational standpoint, I'm happy where their mindset is. It's true that Miami won 5 in a row as well down the stretch, but the thing that I'm concerned about with Miami of Ohio, and then I'll kick it to you, is this team won their MAC championship game. That might have been the prize, the trophy for them. They went into that game as a 19.5-point underdog and won that game outright over Northern Illinois, who was absolutely the class of the MAC this year, and you saw what Northern Illinois ended up doing to Fresno State earlier in the bowls. So I just can't see Miami of Ohio reaching the same intensity that they did in the MAC championship game.
I mean, going back to what you were saying with the whole schedule and the motivation is, let's not forget, that 6-6 is a little misleading. The quarterback from Middle Tennessee State was suspended for 4 games. Came back, he was a little rusty. He went playing how everyone expected him to. They rolled off a bunch of wins. And when you're talking motivation, momentum, they were down, I think it was almost 2 touchdowns in that final game to be bowl eligible. They come back and win. They're going into this game. On the flip side, you got Miami, Ohio. They're 9-4 previous season. They're 1-11, so they're a team on the upswing. But one of the key things is 6 of their 9 wins are touchdown or less. So they won a lot of close games, and some of these teams they were playing are like outright bums. You know what I mean? Yeah. I could quarterback, throw you as my tight end, get our, put the pregame pros together and probably hang on Miami, Ohio, and some of the teams that they played. So,
no question, the MAC conference, from top to bottom, there was a big disparity. Whereas the Sun Belt Conference, believe it or not, They're one of the only teams in the bowls
Very underrated this year.
that are still undefeated. They've sent 2 teams to the bowls already. They're 2-0 in the bowls. And Middle Tennessee State can, give them the hat trick. And to have 3 teams come out of a small conference that nobody ever gets to see play. Late in the year, they televised a couple Sun Belt games on ESPN during those weekday games. But other than that, nobody knows anything about this conference. And as you said, this was a team that talent-wise, Middle Tennessee State, a lot of people had higher expectations to,
Right.
but because of the suspension, it handcuffed them. They're playing ball at the right time, peaking right now. I'm going with Middle Tennessee State. I've got them winning 27-23. Obviously, that's still covering the number that we're looking at. It was much better when we were getting points, but I still have them handicapped as an outright winner. So I'm going to go ahead and make Middle Tennessee State the play here for the first game, the GMAC Bowl.
I mean, I can't disagree with you. I mean, personally, I'm passing. I mean, I just giving up the 3 to me. I'm just going to have to pass on it. But just a side note to kind of back with what you're saying, as I checked with some friends offshore and said, what are you guys seeing? And one of the guys offshore, he basically said, the wisest of the wise offshore is on Middle Tennessee State. Thus the big line movement. But, personally, me, I'm losing the 3. I'm going to pass, but I love the play.
There you go, Middle Tennessee State. We'll be back. We're going to take a look next up, the Cotton Bowl. We're going to look at Texas A&M versus LSU.